Hey guys, welcome back to The Interceptor. We're here with another Alliance War video, and this is going to be Season 60, War number 10, and AOH has matched up against Bolt. Now, we do have some friends in this alliance, so it was a pretty friendly matchup. But this is a very, very big war for us, because AOH has had a fantastic season so far, and if we win this war, we lock in top 10. For the first time in AOH's history. We have never placed in top 10. We have placed in Masters a bunch of times. But this would be the first time we would ever finish in top 10. And even if we were to lose the next two wars, our point differential is good enough and our deaths are good enough that we would finish in the top 10 still. So, this war, we're going to be starting out on Path 9 here, and I did speed up a good amount of this fight. There's two times in this fight that I'm going to get hit, so I am going to slow it down when that's about to happen. One of them is coming up in a second, right here. I just missed a parry. Like, straight up, I just missed a parry. I'm going to get a little bit of that health back with some adrenaline healing. However, my confidence was not incredible, and I'm actually going to mess up again, like almost immediately after, which is why I did not speed up the clip until after I make the mistake. But I am going to counter an SP1 late and get parried, and that's not something that's ever happened to me against Fam with Angela. I'm so confident in the timing that I do it so effortlessly, and I've done it every single war the last two seasons that I've done this matchup. I've never been parried before. However, after getting parried that time, I didn't punish another special one for the rest of the fight because my confidence was gone in punishing the special ones. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to stick to my parry heavy. I'm going to stick to my spamming special one to get up those furies to reset that the global. And it worked. We do finish the fight a little bit under half health. However, it's Angela's only fight. So technically speaking, it's as good as if I finished at 100%. But yeah. Lumatrix on the next node. We're punching down a rank here. So my idiot brain thought that I only have to go for one special one. And normally I think you would only have to go for one special one. However, because of the indestructible at the beginning of the fight taking away a very significant amount of your damage, probably like 15, 10, maybe 10% of his health, it's not going to kill. I think we're going to leave him around 15%. We are going to just use the poison phase to wait out the mist. That was the plan initially on the fight, and then just go for medium combos. But here we're going to go for our L2. It was just waiting for the shock phase to start. This is the this fight is Power Focus 1, which is kind of simultaneously a really good thing and a really bad thing for fighting Lumatrix. It's kind of complicated, but basically you guarantee you never have to bait back-to-back special ones, which I would argue is the bigger threat of the kit than having to bait out more special more often. Like, it's kind of a double-edged sword, and you choose which is worse. I think in that scenario, it would have been worse without Power Focus 1. I think it would have been a harder fight, so I think Power Focus 1 actually helped. But if you guys saw the title, or I'd probably like put it in the thumbnail, the title's probably going to be something like a chance to lock in top 10 or something like that. Or maybe it's the title. I don't know. It might be the title. We are using Gambit. And I've not used Gambit for a while on this channel. It has been a good amount of time. He is probably at this point my second favorite champion in the game. I think Hood has now surpassed him. There was a time he was my favorite. However, I had the absolute perfect opportunity to use him, and we're going to do that today. We are going to be on Path 7, Section 2 with the Physical Thorns. And you know who doesn't take Physical Thorns damage? Gambit. So I put on the Suies. We put on the 200 Mutant. We're going to put on a 8% Mutant as well. And Gambit is going to take both this fight and the next fight. And I'm really happy with how he does. So we throw on an Invuln here. The risk of this fight here against Havok is if he gets a special 3. Like, that's realistically the only way you die. If he starts spamming special 1, obviously that's really bad. But no, it's mostly about not eating special 3. So the strat of this fight is to just block bait heavies. You're going to get a bunch of healing at the start of the fight because you don't take the bleed damage from Sui's. But you're just going to do one single medium combos until you're able to confidently push him to an L2. You're going to bait the L2, and then you're just going to push him to the L2 again. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to throw my heavy. However, I'm going to hold my special 2 until I know it will push him to his special 2, because I'll still have my prowesses, but then I can safely bait a special right after. We get 0 crits on the L2, which is a little bit unfortunate. However, I did learn here something I did not know before. Concussion actually shuts off the unblockable node, which I guess makes sense, but also there's no way to really know beforehand which is going to happen first, the unblockable or the concussion. And I guess, well, clearly, because of how it worked out in this video, I guess the concussion activates first. So there you go. We got to our special 3. This is going to kill. This is way overkill. My special 3, even with 8 prowesses instead of 10, probably would have done 30% of his health. So I could have just thrown it right away. And in hindsight, I should have, but it felt in the moment like the safe thing was to bait out the special 2. Next fight here, this is the really good Gambit fight. This is going to be Killmonger, and the nodes here, basically all it does is it gives him some extra debuffs when you stay close to him, which for Killmonger, he's not going to purify or cleanse, but he is going to gain bursts of power, so I have to be careful not to push him above like 2.5. 2.5 is pretty safe because it's not going to shoot him up to a special 3. But yeah, he's also never going to go unblockable here because once again, that node is only for champions that cleanse on their own. It doesn't give champions cleanse the same way that the first node on Path 1, Section 2 does not give champions unblockable. It's just if they trigger regions of their own, it gives them unblockable. So yeah. We are going to just bait out specials until I get to my 10 charges. Here we get to the 10 charges, so I'm going to go for my heavy attack. We're going to block. We're going to L2 and just watch this. 160k, 374,000 crit. And that's Gambit's job done, you know? He only had to take those 2 fights, and he did a really good job, so amazing to get to use him, you know, when the opportunity does arise. And he is, I mean, I'm sure there is a technical better option for those 2 fights, like Prowler's probably safer. I don't own Prowler on my main, I only have Prowler on my alt, but you know, he absolutely destroyed them and did as well as anyone could have, as well as he needed to. So next fight here, this is going to be the last fight on my main account for this war, and this is going to be Node 38 Jean Grey. Really straightforward fight. If you have watched the last 2 videos, I've actually taken Jean Grey 2 wars in a row on Node 5, the Obstinate Charge one, for Ebb and Flow Knockdown. And this is just literally an easier version of that, because whenever I'm not hitting, she's going to gain prowess on her own, and because my Shocker is duped, it means free ramp. Like, that's literally all it means, is I only need to throw 1 special 1 to get as many charges as I normally get from throwing 2 special 1s, which is really cool. I always love that interaction, and when I have the chance to take advantage of it on either this node or on node 43, where there's also aggression prowess, plus shock is one of the hazard shifts, which he is obviously immune to, I take the opportunity to do it. So here, only 1 special 1 into special 2. We have a ton of charges, and I knew this heavy would kill, and it does. 574,000 damage on that crit. And now we go to my alt account, and this one was a mistake. This one I wish I could take back. We are on Path 5, fighting this Werewolf by night, and you see, I've taken this fight once before, However, I forgot the champion I used. Because that war, I had Hood on the team, but I didn't use him for this fight. I used Shocker. And let me tell you, Shocker is way, way better than Hood for this fight specifically, just because of how quickly he gets it done. It's 2 SP1s into SP2, and the fight is just instantly over. That's not the way the fight goes with Hood, and combined with making some mistakes in this fight, this is going to get pretty scary. And there was probably about 20 seconds of time in this fight where I had just accepted that I was going to die. Like, I thought I was just dead. And here I'm going to get clipped by an L1. How? Who knows? I think I dex too early, and the first hit clipped me because he was still unblockable. I think. I don't know. But at this point, I gotten some control back, and I'm like, okay, we can just keep cycling these L2s, and then we get 0 power steals on an L2, which, by the way, is like a 1.5% chance. Like, it's such an insanely low chance, and it actually activated at a time where it could have really, really screwed me over. This is probably the worst time I've had an L1 get 0 power steals since last season, when I got 0 power steals on that null fight and it almost killed me. And then here I eat another special one, and I'm like, okay, that's probably it. Like, I think that's enough rupture damage to kill me. And then when I was activating my miss, I got hit with a medium into the block for another 2 ruptures. And then there, luckily, I'm able to dash back fast enough, and there he howls, which gives me my opportunity to get my invisibility back. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, I finally have a little bit of control. Just end the fight. Please get me out of here. And I somehow survived. And I was so happy I survived, because my Deathless season flashed before my eyes. I thought I was dead. I thought it was over. And it's not. We survive and get it done. Next one here. This is probably the second worst fight of the war. This war did not start out well on my alt account, I'll tell you that. So this is Nick Fury on Heavy Hitter. However, everything that you want to control about this matchup with Chee'ilth and the flow of the fight just goes completely wrong here. First off, I miss a parry to start off. Invuln's gone. Can't eat a special 2 late in the second life because he'll just instantly kill me if it crits. Obviously, that's not the only reason. I'd rather just not get hit, but I am aware at this point that my Invuln's gone. And I almost ran out of cleanses there, which is insane that you would even think about running out of cleanses in this matchup. But yeah, because I just took a bunch of bleeds. It's going to happen. Here, I'm able to land a stand-up striker intercept, which is really, really nice that he let me do that, because it would have just landed into his block. And that allowed me to not eat an unblockable special 1. I mean, it would have taken like 10% of my health, but still don't want to do that if I have the choice. Gonna go for a special 2 here. Honestly, I thought it was a special 1, but we're gonna eat the special 1 because I don't know how to full dex it. But at this point, I don't have my grit, which means I can't try to block bait heavies, like by baiting out a heavy while I'm like somewhat close. It's a strat that works. So I had to wait out the unblockable. We're going to go for a heavy here. I was a little bit late, but it still landed. And then there, we are going to hit a bit. Trying to go for an intercept. Here, I finally land the intercept, and I was like, okay, I can chill for a second. Going to go for this special 1 because it's actually going to remove the protection, and it's going to allow his life model decoy to take down to 40% because the protection actually does stop the damage against. Unfortunately, it's a really annoying interaction that it stops it, but I mean, technically he's dealing damage to himself, so it's the same thing. At this point, I knew the fight's over. Just need to bait one more heavy combo into SP1 would kill. Don't know why I didn't finish that combo, but the fight's over, so who cares? That fight usually takes a minute 40, so I guess it only took about 20 seconds longer than usual. And I was also punching up this war. but still not great. But, you know, I guess the only hits we took were at the very beginning, so that's fine. Now we're going into this Galan fight, and this is going to be with Hood. Galan with Hood. Galan into Hood would be the opposite. Galan with Hood, not the greatest matchup, because obviously he's immune to Fate Seal. However, what is he not immune to? Stagger. So when I crit, I am going to be able to stop his buffs. And also, we are going to just alternate hits this entire fight. We're going to start out by just alternating with single light combos and heavies to get as many bullets back as I can. There's only one Hood fight remaining after this that requires bullets. So as long as I end with enough to get one fight done, my remaining Hood fights do not require any bullets. I could go into both of them with 0 bullets and guarantee I would not die. Like, it's completely impossible. I would not die. So, yeah. This is the last one. This is going to be Northstar. This one's not going to go perfectly. There's one time where I whiff a heavy and I get punished, but I'm pretty sure the hits just go into my miss. But I lost pacing of the fight, if that makes sense, because of it. And we had a PS1 boost on. The PS1 was for this fight, by the way. We land a really nice light intercept right there. And I'm trying to get back to my L2 in time. And I should have just thrown it after the first hit. I don't know why I hesitated. But at this point, I have to bait a special out and wait until my next invisibility. But there we go for that heavy. I lost a lot of damage going for that heavy, but the point of going for some heavies here is that I was just trying to get bullets back so that when I got to my next L2 cycle, that would be the last one of the fight. And here we decided to take damage back on the final hit of my heavy attack just to get a couple extra bullets back. And now we're going to go into the L2 cycle that I was planning to make end this fight. And unfortunately, we do get an SP1 thrown into my block, but I do get back to my L2 just barely in time to keep up the cycle. And at this point, with 15 bullets left, I knew that the fight was over. That heavy attack just barely did not kill. However, this L2 kills even through protection, so we are completely fine. Minute 5 for that fight. I'll take that. Obviously, once again, just like the Havok that I took, Prowler is a better option than who I was using. But Hood got it done just fine, as you can see. Attuma on node 37. Don't know what this guy's doing here. He doesn't have any special abilities that interact with this node in any way whatsoever. He's going to throw like one special this entire fight, but this was one of the fights I said I definitely do not need any bullets for. So I was considering throwing on a regen boost. I decided not to. And just stay with the PS1 because it lasted for 3 fights. And we're going to go for a couple heavy attacks. That was not to get bullets back. It was just so that I would be closer to my L2 when I was ready to start going for my cycle. Here we have the root trigger. We are going to be good in this fight about making the root trigger on him every single time, but it's not going to be a very long fight. We're just going to cycle him down there. He throws an L2. Not very nice. I wish he had not thrown that, but it's okay. We're going to get a bit of a Dex in the corner. Opening right there. Gonna heavy, and that is going to perfectly set up both root on him to trigger and a perfect time for me to get my invisibility back. One more L2, and then the fight is going to be over as soon as he dashes at me. Right there. Boom. Okay, so 50 seconds. Pretty nice. And this next fight, we're going to be taking Node 41 Thanos. I'd originally assigned it with Hood. However, Chi is just way safer. Like, Chi is a very good counter to Thanos as well. I mean, Hood's great, but Chi's also a very good counter. And the reason Chi is safer is because when she's blocking, she caps the opponent's attack rating. So I can block all the special ones I want in the world, and the damage that he does to my block is never going to get increased by the Furies he has. Whereas if Hood were to get hit or hit into the block in this fight, he would not cap the damage, and he would take more damage than Chee'ilth would. So for that reason, I just decided to be safe. Also, if I were to ever get rooted in this fight, Chee'ilth is going to Purify. And Hood, while he would fail the root 65% of the time, Chee'ilth's going to fail it 100% of the time. So that difference is worth it, I would say. And we are going to go for some parries here, which is kind of something strange to see on the Bubble Shield node. However, I am being very aware of how many charges have activated so far so that I don't get punished when he ultimately does go unblockable. I want the unblockable hit to be one that I dex instead of the one at the end of his special one, if that makes sense. But we're just going to do... there apparently we're just going to tank an L1 to the face because I missed the parry. I don't even know. But I think at this point we just decide to spam special one and like he'll die eventually. It might take a little bit longer if I'm not pausing my bleeds, but it's okay. There I had an accidental parry. I actually did not mean to block that. That right there, that was the 11th hit, the one that was going to be unblockable, so now I know there's going to be no more unblockable hit before he's dead. There I should have gone for heavy just to get 3 free bleeds, but it's okay. Gonna keep spamming special one, and this guy's going to be dead in about 20 seconds. We are just closing in on our 3rd and final protection phase, and then as soon as that is down, he's going to survive like another 10 seconds maybe, because we can just beat into him with Chee'ilth. Maybe a little longer than... No, actually, he's dead right here on the special one. So yeah, there we go. Chee'ilth versus Thanos, node 41. If I was only taking that fight, I would probably want Hood. But if I already had Chi on the team, then she's a little bit safer. So now, this is another Hood fight that I once again did not need bullets for, node 47 Maestro. Also, why is your Maestro unduped? We literally got a free Maestro dupe as part of the Karinas. I don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows why someone would have an unduped Maestro. It doesn't even make sense. We literally got a free dupe, bro. Like, what are you doing? And this is not going to be as easy as I thought. I mean, it's going to be safe. However, I let him get up the glancing pretty early, unfortunately. Here, we're going to get a good opportunity to pause it. But I think we're just waiting for our invisibility to come back. And then I'm going to start cycling some L2s. He is going to get into his Cosmic Radiation in this fight, unfortunately, which is something I usually like to prevent with Hood. And had I had a special 1 boost in this fight to throw L2s before he ever threw a special, he definitely would never have gotten into Cosmic Radiation. However, we're just going to get it down quickly and then move on with it. That heavy was completely unnecessary. I don't know what the purpose of that was, but whatever. And yeah, here, during this special 2, right there, he's going to activate it. Because we had a Fate Seal on, there was only a 35% chance for the hits to glance, because glancing is affected by ability accuracy reduction. So, for example, Gambit's concussion would also make the glancing fail. But we're just going to hit him with a bunch of heavies. And now we're just going to hit him with an L2. That's going to drain the last 6 charges that he has. And then we are just going to go back to hitting him, and he's going to go down. So, like I said, a little bit longer than I had anticipated that fight going, but given that I didn't have an SP1 boost active, a Power Start 1, it's fine. Like, not a big deal. We had to use 1 small refill right there to get to our final fight of the war, my 8th fight on my alt account, and it is going to be this Modok. So this is the same Modok I took last war, and this is the 3rd or 4th war in a row that I've faced Modok, because they've been placing him on nodes where Chee'ilth does him very well, so it kind of makes sense for me to do it. But as I said in last war video, the reason that I got clipped twice in this fight, last war, punishing the heavy, was because Modok was in his own corner. And I did testing to confirm that that was 100% the case. And as long as Modok is not in his own corner, you will never get clipped heavy countering the heavy. So right there, I decided to go for a special 1, just to hit him a bit. But now that he's in his corner, we are going to chill. We're going to go move him back. We say, get towards my corner a little bit, and then we can freely continue to go for some heavies. At this point, I don't really feel like going for my special 2. I kind of feel like it's a waste of time, and there's no actual reason to. So we're just going to hold specials. We're not going to throw any more specials for the rest of the fight. Technically, I could have gone for my special 3. That would have actually helped, but I decided not to. I decided to just hold it and get him down with heavies, and we're doing so much damage that, yeah, definitely not a concern. Going to take a tiny bit of brute force damage in here in this fight, but it was nothing relevant. It was nothing serious. And yeah, one more heavy, and Modok is going to go down after a little bit over a minute, like a minute 20, right on the dot. And I'll show the results right here. We did win this war, and we did manage to lock in top 10. We defeated Bolt with a score of 8-12, and we are now 7-3 on the season. We are currently in 4th place overall, so we are first place in the top 10 bracket of Masters, so basically the spot after podium. We are in 4th overall, and hopefully we can end the season with a couple more wins and see what happens. So, like I said, we're now 7-3 on season. GG's to Bolt, by the way. Like I said, we do have some friends there, so we were very respectful this whole war from both sides. So we are now 7-3. I still have just the 1 death on the season, which is on my main. My PSR is at 126 out of 127 fights soloed, or 99%, with my main being at 57 out of 58, or 98%, and my alt being at 69 out of 69. Nice. And my Deathless streak is at 98 fights after this war. So hopefully I can solo the first 2 fights on my main account next war and get to a 100 fight Deathless streak. But now that I've said that in my video, I'm probably not going to, and I'm probably going to die in the first 2 fights. But it would be really nice, because I think it would be the 4th time I've gotten to 100. I don't know. I'll have to go back and confirm that, but I'm pretty sure that's right. I don't know. Either way, we have a 43 fight active streak on my main and an 82 fight active streak on my alt. That is going to be all for today. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye.